1, 2, 3! All right, let 'em in!
Having grown up reading comics and watching movies and all that kind of stuff, that almost makes me feel like the fantastic is possible. Northern FanCon was started in 2015, and it was born of my desire to bring something grand scale to this city. I'm the event manager for the Prince George Citizen, which is a newspaper that is over 100 years old. I started doing events 3 years ago after I had a lot of success with an arts and entertainment magazine that I created called the Scene PG magazine. I went to Calgary Expo and I was like, man, it would be so awesome if we could actually do something like this in Prince George. We started doing sort of micro events, and we started with Kim Coates, who was from Sons of Anarchy. And then after that, we'd established enough of a relationship with one of the agencies, and that was William Shatner's agency. Once we confirmed William Shatner, we announced him, it blew up. Hey, what time are you gonna be on site? Putting it all together that first time, the event was much harder than I would have anticipated. It was 60 booths, 2 arenas, 12 guests, and I thought that was a huge accomplishment. We then tripled in size. Now we're in 4 arenas, we're over 180 exhibitors, and we have 20 guests this year. Once you open the doors, it's got a life of its own. The energy is so unbelievable, and everybody's so excited and so happy, and that's where they want to be. And it's like you're creating moments for these people. And that's kind of what keeps me going on it. The Awakenings booth, I'll show you where it is. When I'm on the floor, I like to make my rounds, and I like to actually check in with each of the artists, each of the exhibitors, each of the guests, so that they know like we're all partners in this great experience, right? So that's really important to me. This is cool. You got like such a great booth. This kind of event is just so awesome because it is that range of like the young to the old. Yeah, I think it speaks to like sort of the universal appeal to all this stuff, right? It's not just an escape. It's something that you can actually get into and you can feel, and it's something more. Prince George is my hometown. This is where my heart is. Prince George is known for paper and pulp mills, but it's so much more than that. I think that the things that we're doing, it's going to change that perception. We're bringing all these great, amazing things to town, and we're going to get recognized for a few of those things as well. It's very, very kind of community-centric. It's super friendly and welcoming. I have a few places around town that are just my very favorites. One of them is Nancio's, which is like an old Irish pub, and I absolutely adore the fact that you go in and you're greeted by people, and it's very warm and it's very welcoming, and the atmosphere is just unbelievable. Hey buddy. How's it going? Good, how are you doing? I think we should have a lot of pride in where we live. We all build a community together. And if everybody's invested in it, then you have an amazing community like Prince George. I love it here. I think everything is so great. All the people are amazing. You know, it's beautiful here. And I want everybody who's out there to come and experience it and take a piece of it with them. I wasn't going to be told that we're not big enough or we're not cool enough. We are big enough and we are cool enough. And we are going to keep doing these things, and they're going to be amazing. They are going to be amazing.
There we go.
There's Ryan Sear. He looked, but that came up as Jason David Frank.
Is everybody Jason David Frank?
I'm not even joking.
That's funny. All right. So we are live right now, though. So say welcome and say hello.
Welcome, hello, everyone. There's Ryan Sear. Sorry, hold on a sec here.
Yeah, so I got everybody hanging out in the attendees list. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday morning of FanCon from home. As per always, we were just dealing with a couple of little technical issues, but we were able to add some video and some audio, so things are feeling pretty good. Norm is just helping a few individuals who it's their very first time to either Zoom or it's the first time to Zoom through what we're doing right now. But want to say thank you so much for everybody who showed up yesterday. Yesterday was phenomenal first day. Panels for over 7 hours. Today we've got about 12 hours of panels going on, so that's going to be kind of crazy. Are you ready for this, Norm?
I'm ready, man. I'm super excited that we actually saw audiences from as far as New Jersey, Florida, LA. That's pretty impressive considering we're here in the highways and byways of northern British Columbia.
That's right. And so, what is it we're actually doing here? Might as well, for those who are tuning in for the very first time, what is the purpose behind FanCon from home?
Well, Paul, I'm glad you asked that question. The purpose behind this is to keep the community connected. This is we very much like it was a sad thought to think that there would be nothing happening on our dates for this year, due of course to the COVID crisis. But we put our heads together. We put out a bunch of calls, and we basically have a bunch of friends that are joining us, and we've put together 3 full days of streams and all that kind of. It's yeah.
Nice.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm distracted by like a little technical glitch here, so I'm just gonna let Paul talk for a minute.
Yeah, and so basically, a couple of things you might see is in the attendee list. You might see Jason David Frank popping up a few times today. He will actually be here, but apparently a lot of fans of his are going to jump up on the stream as well too. So ignore maybe some of the titles across the top there; they may or may not be correct. Further than that, though, if you do jump onto fancon.ca. If you decide you want to watch us through Facebook, through YouTube, or through Twitch, we are on all 3 platforms. So if there's any sort of lag issues on one or the other, feel free to jump across. Fancon.ca has your schedule. It has a gallery of all the individuals that are coming up. It also has a donate button on there because this right now, as said, we're supplying this absolutely free for everybody. We wanted to make sure that we got together for what is normally our FanCon weekend, but we are trying to support the United Way. That being said, a few people posted yesterday, hey, I don't know if I can do it right now. It's kind of tough. We're not asking everybody to give in to something, but we are saying if you can, and if you feel the ability to do so, then please do. Otherwise, just share, send out the hashtag FanCon from home. Let people know that this is going on. We kind of feel that this is going to be something that people weren't expecting, but it's here. It's going to be live from now until 9 p.m. this evening. And as you'll see the schedule coming up here, in fact, I'll put the schedule up right now. There we go. So at 10 o'clock, Bob Limmer's going to be going on, and he is actually waiting in the wings with us right now. And then we've got Jeremy Simser at 11:30. We have a segment on the movie Cage Fighter coming up at 1 p.m.
That's going to be a good one.
It's gonna be amazing, actually. We've been prepping a bunch of stuff for that, and
it looks like it. It looks like you're ready to rock some wrestling versus MMA.
Right? Getting it going. Got a little bit of the Paul Smackage going on, and that's an inside thing for those who follow the old Edge and Christian podcast. But ENC Pot of Awesomeness. 3 p.m. though, Rachel Talle, and then we're going up to 4:30. This one starts to get hot and heavy. 4:30, Aaron Harrison. 5:30, Jason David Frank, the real Jason David Frank. 6:30, the Cosplayers Roundtable. 7:30, we're going to have the cosplay contest. And that cosplay contest also, all entries must be in by 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we're going to be playing a video, which is the 2019 cosplay contest rebroadcast. So last year's event, playing it again tonight to close up the night. Norm, did I miss anything?
Never before seen footage, except if you were there.
Except if you were there, or getting it ready for tonight.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited that Jason David Frank, for anybody who wasn't listening yesterday, has been very, very generous. He reached out to us. He's like, I want to help. So he's doing an interview with us today. Yeah. And I think it's awesome that he's going to be appearing all day as just a name on everybody's faces.
We are going to all be fans by the end of the day if we weren't already. No, it's whatever. We're having fun.
Zoom. Zoom.
Zoom indeed. All right, so I see you've sent me the link, so I'm going to send that off right now, if I can.
We're trying to actually, just for the opening here, I wanted to welcome Cameron Stoltz in, one of our OG sponsors, who's been with us every year. But we're Zoom is not My favorite. Just kidding. Zoom is awesome because it's a platform to stay connected to all of you out there, and that's really, like our overall objective for this entire thing is to, to have a great time and to stay connected. So it is serving very much its purpose.
I think
It's
more
just
than
like
anything else, it's
lots of funny stuff.
I was gonna say it's probably user error more than anything else, and that's on our part because it's our first time doing this at this size of a scope. We've done it on a smaller scale, but to do it as a full webinar, but we're having fun though. Let's see here. Oh,
It
I
is
see.
a lot of fun.
Because actually, yeah, the same thing that he joined into yesterday. All he needs is a new username and password. That's easy
Who's that?
for Cameron.
Oh,
He was on yesterday
well,
with the vendor one.
by the time we get him, maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll ask Cameron to join us a little bit later in the day.
I see two
Unless-
Jason David Franks in the waiting room.
I know,
just
that's
now.
what I was looking at.
That's hilarious. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get it ready for that. But our next segment for 10 o'clock. Let's see here. Do you want to actually? You know what we can do? We can load up a video. We can show another one of our throwback videos, and then we can actually get ready right into the 10 o'clock segment, and then you can hopefully sort out everybody's names and get that going. Does that work?
Sorry, I missed that, but whatever you said is what works. Absolutely.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw it out right now, is for those who tuned in yesterday, we had a little show we were talking about called Wicked Ways. And about nearly a year ago, we actually filmed the pilot of that in Barkerville, British Columbia. One of the things we wanted to get ready for that particular moment, we didn't have ready, and we'll play this a couple of times throughout the day, but this is starring Leanna Vamp as well as Mark Meir. So we're going to load up that trailer for you to check out, and this is going to be a little trailer for Wicked Ways.
I would like to go home now.
There is a place we can rest our heads tonight. It's the second most haunted place in Barkerville, the St. George Hotel.
So not home?
No, hotel.
Hotel. Haunted hotel.
Yes, haunted hotel.
Haunted hotel.
All right, this way.
There we go. Norm, how you feeling?
Are we still live?
We're live again.
Oh, right on, man. I'm getting some messages.
Okay, getting everybody sorted out.
Bob's just checking in, saying, "Can you see me?" I have seen you.
Yeah, he's all ready and good to go. We got one of our Jason David Franks is raising their hand. They're anxious to get in for the 10 o'clock start.
Yes. So for panelists, this is like behind the scenes, folks. So this is like you're watching a Zoom behind the scenes as it plays out. So because we've got Brian, so I don't know who these Jason David Franks are. I know that Ryan Sear's on the call for sure.
Yeah.
Jagdish is on the call. I would expect that's either Brian Cornby or William Miller, and then we'd be waiting on Troy and whichever one of those guys is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link again in the chat, and you can keep talking to the folks, Paul.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll actually just clean up your video a little bit too as well because it's off just a tiny little bit as we transition in. And there you go. Now you're all set. And yeah, we can actually get everything ready. Oh, to answer your question though, I actually can't send out the links right now. For some reason, it's locked me out from sending it. So if it's an email, I don't have that ability. So that's part of being live. As Ming said, it's all about the work behind the scenes that are going on. But hey, you know what? That's fun.
Oh, we got another Jason David Frank.
Because you set out your profile, which is the way you would set it up. It would either have been a ton of Jason David Franks or it would have been a ton of Norm Coyne. So whichever.
That's awesome. I love it though. Do you know what? That is because that guy has so much great energy. I'm super looking forward to his panel at 5:30.
So are we
which will
saying?
be.
I was
What's
gonna say,
that?
are we saying that May 9th is Jason David Frank Day?
Yeah, I think it should be. I think it should officially be JDF Day. Um, and also, now that I'm actually looking at his initials on all these people's names that are now Jason David Franks, um, uh, JD is who's going to be interviewing him.
Oh,
Yeah, it's JD interviewing JD. So JD Boutillier from, I hope I said that right, but I probably didn't, from Pattison Broadcast, also a very much a friend of FanCon. Hosted our nerd trivia one year with
there
Garrett
you go.
Wong. Yeah, very fun. And he's done a bunch of cosplay stuff for us too. So
that's awesome. Let's see here. I'll maybe message everybody and say, if you want to change your name, feel free.
we should. Are you gonna do that?
Let's see here.
I'll do the chat here.
I was gonna say,
Click on your name and change it.
yeah, just click on rename. So that way we kind of alleviate some of the confusion and we get set. Here I get there. Perfect. I'm gonna load up one more video real quick, and then I think we should start getting into introductions of what the next segment is, and you can be ready, and then we'll see if we can add in Cameron for the next segment afterwards.
Awesome. Okay, so, well, let me tell you, folks. Let's flash back to 2014. 2014 is before FanCon even exists, and we did a crazy event called the Northern Taste Market. Northern Taste Market was a live chef challenge where we actually brought in 2 live kitchens. Like there was like a stainless steel kitchen on one side and a stainless steel kitchen on the other side on a huge stage. And we basically, it was a round table where, or round robin, where basically, or I don't know, I've never understood those terms, round robin and whatnot, but is chefs going head to head and competing for the top chef honors in Prince George. And so we were like, who can we bring in to host this amazing event? And we landed on Bob Bloomer. So Food Network favorite Bob Bloomer. He used to have a show called Glutton for Punishment, where he actually traveled the globe to break Guinness World Records related to food. So, like I'm trying to think of some of them, but I can't. Anyways, Surreal Gourmet, where he actually drove around in a toaster, prepping food and whatnot. Yeah, man. World's Weirdest Restaurants is another one. Through the years, Bob, we have actually brought him out here a few times, and he's like a big fan of Prince George. He's got a cookbook coming out this October, so really very much looking forward to that. And through the years, he's built a pretty strong relationships with our local chefs here. So I'm super excited to jump into this next segment. And there he is right there. Hey, Bob.
Morning, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
You know, I'm still recovering from that first time when you landed on me. You know, kind of hurt my back a bit.
It's funny. So you've been on these Zoom conferences a bit over the last little bit?
I've done a few, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
landmine.
Yeah, it's funny because like we're kind of building this plane as we fly it anyways. But like the funniest little things are happening. Like later in the day today, the Green Power Ranger, you know the Power Rangers?
Yep.
So the Green Power Ranger is going to be our 5:30 interview. His name is Jason David Frank. And this morning, everybody who's going to be on this call is Jason David Frank. Except for Jagdish. I see Jagdish is there and she's, but how are things going down there?
And there's only one Jagdish, so
exactly.
It never happened that everybody was Jagdish. Things are good down here. You know, it's a little crazy as it is everywhere in the world. You know, I mean, I was supposed to be in PG right now, right? So that's a bit disappointing. But we're all making the most of it. And, you know, I think as everyone says, if you're fortunate to have a roof over your head and a full refrigerator and a pantry, of which many people aren't, and I'm painfully aware of that, But if you're fortunate enough to have that, there are definitely some silver linings, you know, and you see them every day. It's interesting. It's interesting to watch the world stopped and everybody sort of piece it back together slowly in this new order. And that is, I mean, as everyone said, I'm not saying anything that we haven't all talked about at dinner parties or sorry, at virtual dinner parties over the last couple of months. But anyways, it's interesting to watch this happen. Is the bottom, and it's, you know, there's stuff here that's not happening elsewhere, and there's stuff in Prince George going on that's probably not happening here.
For sure. You know, it's interesting because yesterday we did, I don't know, like 4 or 5 of these Zoom interviews, and like common thread across the board. Like I've been asking people, you know, like what have you been doing? Like, I mean, what have you been really enjoying? Right? Like what books have you been reading, and what music, and like what activities across the board, gardening, cooking,
baking bread,
sourdough bread, big,
making no knead bread. And a recipe created by a guy named Jim Leahy in New York. You can buy bread everywhere. There's no shortage of bread. Yeah. But everybody wants to bake because it's kind of a comfort thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Actually,
Norm, before everyone else joins in, I'm going to give you a little Zoom tip.
Okay.
Look at the camera, not the screen.
Okay.
Look at the dot on the camera.
Okay, I'm looking at it now. Does it look like I'm looking at it?
No, it looks like you're looking at me. That's the point.
Does it look like I'm looking at you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But I don't want to look at you because I want to look at my dot. When I look at my dot, does it look like I'm looking at you?
Okay, wait. Are you looking at your dot now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is live too, you know, right?
That's okay. So does it look like I'm looking at you?
Mm.
This is good for all the participants, actually.
I love it. That's awesome. So go ahead, yeah.
So if I'm looking at the dot, at the camera, then I'm looking at you. If I'm looking at myself or you on the screen, then I'm looking down.
Gotcha.
Also,
okay, this is good. This is good stuff.
Do you like the Zoom background I've created? It's available on Zoom. It's called Bob Bloomer's Kitchen.
Are you joking?
Anybody can get it. What's the word for drop themselves in? You know, you parachute yourself into my kitchen with this Bob Bloomer Zoom background.
Are you joking around, or are you? That's serious. There's a virtual background of Bob Bloomer's kitchen.
Yeah, this is my kitchen. But as I was saying that to you, I was thinking, there's a golden opportunity.
Sure is.
By the lockdown.
That's awesome. I love it, man.
Have the kitchen of your dreams, but only for your Zoom meetings.
I love it.
Oh,
I love it. Okay. I think what we're going to do here, we're getting pretty close to 10. I see that there is actually only 4 participants. So it means we're missing a couple. But that's okay. All right.
Well, it's 5-2. I mean, you know, those guys are busy. It's effective time management. They're going to parachute in at the last second.
Yeah, that's good.
Who's
that's
here?
good. What's that? Oh, I see. There's four Jason David Franks and Jagdish.
This is like this is romper room. I see Norm. Hang on just a second. How do I do this properly? How did you do it on romper room? Here we go. Through the magic whisk, I see Norm. I see Jagdish. Oh, there's Bobby.
That's awesome. Okay, here we go. Now we've dropped people off. Oh, there's. So you see Jagdish?
I don't see your face. I just see your name.
Okay. All right. I see Ryan Sear. He is first Jason David Frank. I see Donna Flood. She is second Jason David Frank. You guys know how to change your names on the little corner? There's Jagdish. Looking good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Hey, Nora.
Hey, how are you?
Jagdish, you see what this is?
Oh my God, that's my girl masala.
Huh? Roast.
Hi, Jagdish.
Hi, Ryan.
Ryan, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. I have
How was your dinner last night, Jagdish?
Was good. Oh, everything was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, I have a new favorite ingredient from my backyard, but I can't send it to you. But
Oh, what do you have now?
Oh my God.
That prickly pear?
yeah, Nopales.
Yeah.
So I make cocktails with the actual pears. I make I press them and make prickly pear margaritas, and then with these you can make cocktails and quesadillas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but they're a little prickly to bring out or send out.
Yeah. So how do I order your kitchen backgrounds?
Just give me your PIN number right now, and we'll take care of it.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's very
Agnes, what are you cooking?
I'm just making protein salad.
Just a little something for breakfast or lunch?
You can say lunch.
No, it's breakfast.
Cool. William, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, boss. How are you?
Doing very well. Do these guys, Ryan and Jagdish and Donna, I mean, Bob wouldn't know probably. Or actually, I think I mentioned it. Did they know that you've been doing these little videos? Have you released them anywhere?
No, it's all Chris. I just cook. He films stuff.
Okay, so
I don't know where. Yeah.
Chris Diaz and William are starting to do like 5-minute kind of food prep videos. I watched one yesterday. It was pretty cool.
Are you putting that up on the Instagram? Is that what you're doing?
It's going to go up on YouTube.
Oh, sweet.
How long? Is there a time restriction for videos on Instagram?
There is. You can do a 1-minute version, which just streams it just automatically streams, or you can do a longer one, and it kind of you just have to one extra button.
Yeah, I don't know how you do the 1-minute videos. That's a tight crunch.
That's what I was doing. A lot of swap outs.
Yeah. Here's what I prepared before.
Okay, I see Troy's on now.
Okay, William, I'm going to ask you about what you've been making because I'm curious.
Well, I have a lot of canned food I'm trying to go through right now, and I love sardines, so I have a large sardine collection. So I'm making a lot of sardine niçoise salads, and I made a sardine banh mi with some fiddleheads.
Sweet. Do you have different vintages of your sardines since you've probably been saving the cans up over the years?
Yeah, I think my favorite ones are actually the Filipino ones in tomato sauce.
No, I'm talking vintages.
Oh, vintages! I don't have any good vintages. No, I try and eat them within the year. But
they actually say that I've read stories of people doing tastings of old sort of expired cans of sardines, and they say they're pretty good. They just have a kind of slightly different flavor.
I'm always afraid after that, seeing those videos of those cans from Sweden that swell, and then they pop with that horrible smell.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's your first hint. If the can looks like it's pregnant, don't open it. But
all right, so we're a little bit past time here. Hopefully, Brian will still be joining us. But for any of you that are just joining us or have already joined us, we are joined this morning by Food Network favorite Bob Bloomer, very huge friend of Prince George in the culinary scene. We've also got Ryan Sear from the White Goose Bistro. Ryan, put your hand up.
Hey, everybody.
Donna Flood, Executive Director of Hospice. We actually, every year we do, or for the last 2 years, we've done a PG Chef Challenge with Bob that we bring him in for, which is a fundraiser for Hospice. So Donna's here to sort of be a cheerleader today and also raise awareness of her great organization.
And I think everybody's sending me their samples, aren't they? So I can taste later? I'll give you my address.
Samples. And so we've got Jagdish Gill from Karahi King. Jagdish, put your hand up.
That's a good idea.
Put your hand up. There you go.
Woo, woo.
William Miller from Batula Burning, Nancy O's and Birch and Boar. William. Troy, I don't see your video, but virtually, I guess, just wave and say hello.
Hey, Norm, I'm working on the video.
Zoom is such a fabulous space. It's like, it's so funny. Yesterday, we actually did a bunch of panels, and at one point, we didn't realize that the audio was still on. So live mics, fascinating stuff. Anyways, so what we're gonna do today is Bob's got a little bit of a plan that he'll key you all in on, and I think it's just it's important for us. Like, the whole reason why we're doing this is to keep our community connected, and whether that is FanCon, the community, or the culinary community, it's more important than ever to do these things. Right? We can't be together in person, and we can certainly be together on Zooms like these. So. I'll leave it to you, Bob.
Sure. Well, hey, thanks to all of you for joining us, to the chefs here in the room, to Donna, and to everyone in the audience who's joining us. I think first thing I want to do is acknowledge all the people who have been working on the front lines here, because I know the restaurants have been super hard hit, but in the pecking order of how difficult it's been, first responders, hospital workers, it's been incredible to see some of the stories. And having spent a fair amount of time, I think I've been up there, Norm, maybe I'm going to say half dozen times. So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of folks up in PG and the spirit of the community. So I just think it's important, before we talk about some of the fun stuff and the food things, to acknowledge that. I'm also really curious, being down here and not getting that much news about Prince George. I'm curious about what's been happening, and the restaurants have been. I know you've been closed for a while, but is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Are you? I want to know about what you're all doing individually in terms of servicing your communities. So. William, I want to start with, so I'm going to ask some questions off the top, and then after that, we're all going to share a brief recipe demo that has somehow been born out of this lockdown in one way or another. I guess I don't know what any of you are making, but I look forward to that. And then I'll do a little demo of my own and show you one of the things that I've done, sort of with a minimal pantry. So William, just out of curiosity, has your store been open the whole time?
We have. We actually lowered our hours and only accepting 3 people in the store at a time. We have sanitizer available, and we're running business as usual as we can.
Right. And what about your supplies? Are you still have your supply line? Is it pretty full?
Well, since me and my business partner Brian, we fully believe in local food economies. We've actually been able to keep supplies really good because we deal with local farmers first, and so they always have product available. And we're actually one of the few outlets still open now. The farmers market's been closed, so we're putting as much of the local farm produce, proteins as we can, from eggs to pork, chicken, and then of course wonderful produce from like PNR Organics, Caribou Growers.
Right. Wow. And what about? I mean, I know you have a bakery in your shop. Have you been able to source flour, which seems to be in high demand these days?
Well, for the personal pastries that we make at Birch and Boar, we're still able to get flour. We get those through the large supply chains still. Wild Bread, she's getting her flour as well, I think, without a problem, but she only operates on Tuesdays right now.
Right.
And that's that sourdough bakery inside Birch and Boar.
Right. Yeah, there's been I was saying to Norm earlier, if I had a nickel for everybody posted a photograph of the Jim Leahy no-knead sourdough bread.
Yeah.
Online, I'd be a wealthy man at this point.
Jim would be very wealthy too.
Yes, that's true. I guess I should feel sadder for him and for myself about that. Jagdish, how you doing? Are you with us? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, what about your supply chain? I was thinking about that because you bring in a lot of specialty ingredients, don't you?
Yes. Right now we are taking from Save On Food, not any other sources. But before lockdown, we got some grocery from dry beans, everything from Surrey.
Great. So you're kind of covered right now?
Yeah, we are okay. And special other things, milk products, we are getting local from here.
And what are you doing in terms of service? Are you doing takeout?
Yeah, we do takeout and deliveries or pickup stuff, yes.
So what percentage of your business would you say is you're running at now versus before this all?
10%.
I think we are okay. Prince George giving us very good support. We are 10% up right now.
Really?
The
Wow.
sale, takeout stuff. But dine-in is closed. We are missing that part.
Yep.
But for takeout, we are a little up.
Right. No one's having weddings right now, are they?
No weddings at all. It's all canceled for this year. Was big event was coming in July and August. That's all canceled.
Good time to elope.
I mean,
It's a good time to elope.
yeah.
Ryan? You with us here? Can you hear me?
You mentioned, yeah. Yeah.
So what's happening at the White Goose?
Same old, doing lots of deliveries, lots of takeout, same old as everyone else kind of thing, yeah.
So all of your regular customers who are regulars are just bringing in.
Yeah, we've had incredible support. We've, like Jag did, my sales are up through this. It's been crazy. It's a bit different, definitely transition your business into doing takeout food is a little bit different, but we've been going strong, yeah.
And how do you, well, first of all, when are you going to get the green light to open the restaurant up?
Well, they say May 19th. I heard 2 weeks, but I think half capacity, definitely going to be some rules in place. But I heard within 2 weeks, it'll slowly open up. I can't see it being a big rush back to restaurants. I think people are still going to be having the food to go or the pickups, that type of thing, but it'll slowly happen.
I've been working on a mask design with a zipper, so you can go to a restaurant and just unzip it and stuff it in your pie hole and then zip
That's how some people would be. Some people, you know what? You see people are going to the extreme measures, and some people are pretty much taking it easy.
Right.
So, a bit of both.
Troy, is that you in my?
Yes.
So what about the bar business? What's happening there?
Not a lot. They don't let us deliver beer, so we've been a little slow in that department. But yeah, we're doing the same as everything else. We've sort of combined the brands and doing stuff through the Clover and the Cork as far as grocery boxes. And then we started about 4 weeks ago doing takeout and delivery as well. So doing whatever we can to keep a little cash flow.
Right. And do you see outdoor events, like outdoor drinking events that are taking over when this all starts again, or what do you see?
Oof, I don't know. I think yeah, that's tough to take a read. It's I think it'll definitely be staged sort of opening, but I don't know what that looks like. We don't really have a patio. I know that there's a lot of talk about opening up the rules on patios because I think just consumer confidence is higher out there. So I think you could see some stuff there.
What about just closing the road in front of your place?
That's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Get me the mayor on the phone, will you?
Yeah, I'll get him.
They should just license the park across the street. That'd be great.
That's right. There you go. We could just
perfect.
We could just fence it all in.
It'd be awesome.
That would be totally great. Brian, are you there? Brian? Norm, is Brian there?
Brian.
No, that's a casualty. Donna.
Hi. Anyway, thank you for inviting me. Just our work doesn't end just because of COVID, so we continue to do what we do. But it's not the same place because we've had to shut down our common areas, and the kitchen is the heart of hospice. I just will mention one of my favorite stories is with Ryan at hospice and his opportunity to learn how to make borscht with his baba. And, just that's the kind of place it is. And we miss it being like that, where he could just sit by her and she could keep tasting it and say, no, add this. And, it was an opportunity for him to learn a family recipe. Send it down. So again, we continue to do what we do, and we're always privileged to have the support of our community. So
Right. Well, it seems like everybody's supporting everybody here. So I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about Prince George.
Absolutely.
It's a tight enough community, and you're supporting everyone. They're supporting you. So what are you doing for fundraising? Because I know your need for money doesn't disappear just because of really little virus that's shut
Well,
down.
we've had to cancel a lot of our fundraisers, but we have this really fantastic event going on at the moment. It's called the Color Walk. And so what we had done traditionally is we would walk around and be like a hula event. We would throw colors and people would, do their laps and all sorts of colors and carnival type atmosphere. Can't do that this year. So people are challenged to walk 100K in the month of May. So everybody is out there walking in the community, sharing stories about their loved ones, pledging and raising money for hospice through that. So we've had to be a little bit unique and creative because, again, our work doesn't end just because of COVID. So we just have to be creative.
Right. Well, good on you. Is that Brian?
That's Brian.
I made it. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
I want to talk a bit about foraging. So is this actually, does this lockdown sort of prevent you with an opportunity to get out into the wilderness and not
a little bit. I definitely tried to point of getting out a little bit more in the forest and trying to find some different ingredients. But yeah, it's been nice to kind of slow down and kind of just rethink our whole sustainability and our whole food cycle up here. So yeah.
What are you finding out there right now?
Right now we got fiddleheads, which I know you love. They're starting up, and then we got fall Solomon seal as well.
Any good bear sightings in the last little while? That's what I really want to talk about.
Any good which?
Bear sightings.
Bear sightings, yeah. I've had a couple. Yeah. I had a bear at my place 2 nights ago, which is
really
always fun. But they're out there. You just got to be careful.
Well, it's a fine line between really wanting to see them, as I always do when I'm there, and then, of course, making sure they don't see you first.
Yeah, there's definitely a social distancing that there needs to be taken into account with bears.
Okay, so here's the $100 question. If the appropriate distance for social distancing for humans is 6 feet, what is the appropriate distance for a non-contagious bear?
I would say at least 20. At least 20 would be safe.
This is a true story. When I did an episode of my show where I was picking morels actually in Trail, BC, and there was always the threat of bears, and so I was given a big aerosol container, like it's the small cayenne pepper spray containers that a lot of people have. Well, this is like the Costco sized version, and it's for bears. And so I live in Los Angeles, and even though I'm proudly Canadian, but I live in Los Angeles, and I would say conservatively half of my neighbors, a quarter of them admit to having guns, but I would say half of them have a gun in their house. I sleep with this can of bear spray beside my bed. That's my protection and my self-defense.
It'll do the trick, though.
Yeah, as long as the only problem with bear spray is it's hard to spray somebody else without getting yourself involved.
Yeah, you really have to watch the wind.
Yeah.
Wind is your enemy when it comes to bear spray.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, you guys all want to talk recipes here. Are we all prepared to do a little demo of some sort, or just a little talk through of a demo?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? Well, why don't I start with, I'm going to start with Jagdish, the reigning champion from last year's Iron Chef competition. Jagdish?
Yeah.
You want to take this away?
Yeah, I'm trying to make today's sprouted beans protein salad. I took the green beans and I make the sprouted nicely. It comes nicely.
So Jagdish, I'm going to need you to tilt your camera down a little bit so that
Can you repeat me again? I didn't hear.
can you tilt the camera down so they can
Okay.
see?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Now you can see?
Yes, we can. Wow, you've got quite the little mise en place going on there, don't you?
Yeah, I just got the sprouted green beans. That's black chana chickpeas. It's not polished. It's lots of protein in it, and then lots of fiber in it. And then I'm using paneer to get more protein in it. Adding some tomatoes, onions. And roasted peanut to give a little more crunch in it. And we got lots of mango. I'm using fresh mango.
Grown in Prince George?
Yes. And
hey, we all laugh now. It's only going to be a few more years of global warming before you guys have mango groves in Prince George.
And I'm using fresh mint in it. Okay. So for a little spicier, I like spicy. I put little jalapenos. And okay, I'm using black salt and black pepper. And this is my chaat masala. And I just make house-made dressing from mango and tamarind pulp. And a little bit of oil, olive oil. And some fresh lemon and my black roasted and stir nicely.
Wow, that looks like it's going to be lunch for all of us.
Yeah, it looks really good.
That's a great color.
And cilantro. That's my salad is done.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Nice. Gorgeous. Nicely done, Jagdish. As always.
Done. Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you. Ryan, what you got for us?
Okay, well, mine's a little bit less involved in that. What I've been doing kind of over the time is I've been making some raviolis. You know, it's something if you want extra seafood or you have leftovers, cut it up and make ravioli. So kind of just ravioli. What do we do? I'll put a link on my Facebook later today about how to roll some different types of raviolis if people want to try them at home. It's even something your kids can do, quite honestly. Fun, healthy, good and easy. They just simple ones kind of like this here. Just annulatis. A couple different kinds of raviolis to roll. But that's what we've been doing to kill time.
And can you freeze those?
Yeah, I keep them frozen. Yeah, you bet.
And when you cook them, you just cook them straight out of the freezer?
Yeah, I just boil them. You know, the annulati ones take about 3 minutes. The thinner envelope style ones take about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Very quick.
Yeah, but that's after the 5 hours it took you to roll out the pasta.
No, they're they're actually quite easy to roll. You know, quite honestly, it takes you about 10 seconds, 15 seconds of ravioli. You know what to do. Pretty cool.
You know what I like to do, because I'm not a serious chef like you. I just like to make my food fast. Take wonton wrappers.
That's what I use as well.
Are there any stores in PG that sell wonton wrappers?
You know what? I'm sure there is. I order mine through one of my companies, but I'm sure you can buy them in town.
Yeah, and then you just, whatever your stuffing is, right? You just put them between 2 wonton wrappers.
Yeah, a little bit of egg, it sticks. It's good to go.
Yeah.
Like I said, and you can use pretty much anything. Like I said, I made one last week where I had a couple different types of seafood I had frozen. I probably had 6 or 7, little bits of each. So I put them all together, cooked it, flavored it, buzzed it up a little bit, and like I said, make your raviolis. It's good stuff to use up leftovers, things that are hanging around. Lots of fresh vegetables you can do as well.
Yeah.
Lots of options.
That's how you survive in the restaurant business, right? You use every last bit of
that's just it. Every single thing, right? You bet.
Fantastic. William.
I kind of mentioned before, but I've been using up a lot of canned seafood for my cupboards, and I have a love affair with sardines. So I made basically a sardine banh mi, which is one of my favorite kind of sandwiches. It's pickled carrots, pickled daikon, a little bit of pickled fiddleheads, some chicken liver pate made by Brian, and then just a lot of sardines on a crusty baguette.
Fantastic. And how are you pickling your carrots and whatnot?
I do like I prefer 1-to-1 for carrots, like so 1 part vinegar, 1 part water, and then if you want sugar, you can add sugar. I tend to find carrots are good enough as they are. If I have time, I like to ferment them in like a salt solution, about 5%. But I kind of put it together really fast this morning.
Okay, so if you're doing that, just walk me through, because I've just started into the world of pickling. So walk me through. You have a handful of nice, beautiful little baby carrots and a big jar. What do you do?
My favorite way is that you take basically water, distilled water if you can get it, salt, about 5% salt for carrots, and then you just dissolve it together, pour it over your carrots like a brine.
Yeah.
Put a little jar in there with a bubbler on top, like you're making wine, and let it sit for about 5 days. You'll have a nice, natural, sour, fermented, full of lactobacillus carrot.
Nice.
Talk to make our hot sauce too and everything like that too, just for nice fermentations.
And that also, if I'm not mistaken, is a good immune booster too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great gut check health kind of thing.
Yeah, probiotics, all that.
And it's really easy to do. I mean, especially if you're growing your own product or you're foraging, because a lot of when you buy a lot of produce, especially when it comes from California, a lot of it has been basically destroyed to keep it fresh longer on the shelf. It doesn't have a lot of the living bacteria in it anymore. The more bacteria you have, the more of a fermentation you're going to get.
Cool.
Fiddleheads are great for fermentation. False almond seal, I got a jar of them going right now.
Nice, very nice. And that's a nice way to preserve them too past the season, because it's such a fleeting season, right?
Keeps them forever. Like you take some hot chilies, false almond seal, some salt water, and then you have the perfect Caesar garnish instead of asparagus. Way better.
That's awesome. When I talk about my my little collage that I'm going to show a before and after for, it's almost, the texture is almost exactly like a fiddlehead.
Yeah.
Brian, since I have you up on my screen.
Hello, sir.
You gonna share a recipe with us?
Yeah, I haven't been cooking much. I've been on the farm working and growing, but one thing I have been making is a delightful dish, coffee. It's been a big help with the farm, but we were talking about foraging earlier and like sustainable in the food cycle, and I think with this, it's really hit home, like with how much we're actually producing for ourselves and our footprint. So I've just taken the time to work on my farm and try and be as sustainable and try and produce as much variety as we can. So I've been doing that. I haven't been cooking. I've been eating. I've been going off coffee.
Well,
the true chef way.
If you weren't working on the farm, no one would have the ingredients to be doing the cooking with. So
yeah, it's fun. It's tough having a farm up here, but I think up here is especially important because we are kind of isolated a little bit in itself up here, and we do see a lot of shipping shortages and things of that nature. So it's good.
Isolation is a double-edged sword because, from what I understand, you guys have very few cases of the virus up there, right? That's a good thing about being isolated.
Yeah, we do. It's been going down. I don't know what the official number is right now, but we're hermits by nature up here in the north, so isolation isn't anything for us.
This is our time.
Our time to shine. We're strong. We are the north.
We the north. We strong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Hey Troy, I heard you're gonna do a little something for us.
Did you? Well, they don't let me in the kitchen unless it's in the dish pit. So I thought I better talk about something else important to the restaurant industry. So I've been working on a wine list. So I thought I'd share something new and cool, maybe. And I don't know where you live. You live right in LA?
I live under the D of the Hollywood sign.
Do you want to tell people where Paso Robles is?
Yeah, sure. Paso Robles is well, it's about 125 miles north of LA. It's sort of the first. Well, there's Santa Barbara and then Paso Robles, and they're the first wine growing regions north of LA. So they're the furthest south, which means and Paso Robles is, because it's the furthest south, it's a warm weather region, so it produces a lot of big, voluptuous red wine.
Yeah, cool. So going through all this searching to develop a wine list, you come across these interesting stories, and everybody knows California Reds, but mostly Napa and Sonoma. But Paso Robles, as you alluded to, is a pretty cool growing region and has some distinct flavors. I think maybe because the proximity to the Pacific. I think it's only about 20 kilometers. Is that right?
Something like that, yep.
Yeah, sounds about right. So anyways, this is a cool cab that comes from Paso Robles. I don't know if you know it. Do you know it, Bob?
Triana, yes, I do. And it's a beautiful. They changed their label a few years ago. They used to have a gorgeous label, but it's a beautiful wine.
Yeah, Triana, and it's beautiful. And I think the difference, it's cool to find ingredients. Grapes are also ingredients. So growing regions have distinct flavors, and Paso Robles is no different. And it has a really cool sort of vegetative undertone, as a maybe compared to jamminess or fruit forward that you get from some of the further north growing regions. But really great red, and something that most people haven't seen. It's tough to track down, but if you can, it's a great experience. So a little California Paso Robles Cabernet.
Nice. What are the varietals? Is it just cab?
It's straight cab. Straight cab.
Nice. It's a gorgeous wine.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Are you looking for more wine? I mean, are you tasting every day that?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, not every day. I mean, we're BC heavy, so I have a pretty good understanding. I'm selling BC wine for 20 years, so I have a pretty good understanding. So it's just to step out and find those unique opportunities from some of the growing